Okay, now the next topic, very important topic in the most of the exam scenario, it has been tested, decision tree. It is a very important topic under risk and uncertainty in decision making. Very recent examination, online examination and the pilot paper and mock exam paper, all the exam papers it has been tested. In this particular section, I have identified this is one area which students should be more focused. One area, this is not a selective learning I am highlighting. You have to keep more weight on this as well. Decision tree. This is a pictorial method of showing sequence and alternatives. If we have alternatives, when there is alternatives, we have to evaluate them and we have to make a conclusion or we have to reach to a final decision. Okay. Therefore, the pictorial illustration of a sequence of making a decision, you can arrive to you can make your decision based on this decision tree. Okay. A decision tree is a pictorial method of showing a sequence of interrelated decision and the expected outcomes. If I do this thing, what are the outcomes? If I do not do this thing, what will be the outcome? Therefore, all the possible outcomes and each of the decision we have made will be visualized to the decision tree. We call this a rollback analysis. Why? There is a two approach called forward pass and backward pass method. Generally, when we are going network diagram also, we are discussing about roll backward pass and forward pass. Forward pass means we will start from left to right, we will construct the decision tree and we will work out from right to left. This is called backward pass. This is forward pass. Forward pass. That means when we are going to construct the decision tree, we will construct from left to right. When we work it out from right to left, we will work out it. Therefore, when we are going to construct a decision tree, there are two main symbols we are using. Okay, two main symbols. Number one, decision point, that means it will be square shape. Okay. Remember, when we are going to construct a decision tree, what we have to keep in mind, any decision tree should start with the decision point, that means we should start with the square shape symbol. Okay. There should be a single square shape, because then you have to show, you have to use line or branch, option or alternative, show what are the possible outcomes. Okay. Okay. Therefore, when we are going to construct a decision tree, remember it will start with the square shape symbol, that means decision point. From decision point, we have to show line, branch, options available, outcome will be in a circle. Okay. There is an example, then we can easily understand. Prior to that, I will show you when we are going to evaluate a decision tree should start with a decision point. Then available alternatives you will shown in a branch. Okay. Then each alternative, there might be some outcome, therefore you have to use circle as to show the outcome point, then those outcomes available you can show like this. Okay. Therefore, there might be outcome, you can show like this. Now, we are going to construct from left to right, that means when you are going to construct the decision tree, it should be left to right. Vame indala dakunte yanne. Then you have to label x, y, likewise you have to label them and you have to assign some probabilities. In some instances it might be required. Then assume this is 10 million, 5 million, 3 million, probability is given. You have to work out from left, right to left. ඒ කියන්නේ work out කරගෙන යනකොට යන්නේ right එකේ ඉඳලා left එකට තමයි work out කරන්න ඕනේ. When you are going to draw the decision tree, it will draw from left to right. When you are going to work out the decision, you have to come out from the right to left. That's how it will work. Okay, we will move to example number 6. It says about how we are going to construct a decision tree. Okay, read it. ABC company can choose to launch a new product with new machinery or continue to sell current product with old machinery. You have two options: produce a new product with new machinery, okay, or continue with the current product. If the product is launched with the market research assume expected sales and expected unit cost will be as follows. The sale price per unit will be remain at 10,000 over the period. Selling price එක 10,000 කියලා කියනවා over the period. Okay. The cost of machinery upgrade, it should be read as like this, not machinery upgrade. It should be, oh yes, machinery upgrade will be 5 million. This should be machinery upgrade. Okay, new machinery. Upgraded machinery. Upgraded machinery. Upgraded machinery. The cost will be 5 million. If the company uses existing machinery to produce the current product, the expected demand might be as follows. Demand will be 8,000 unit, 75% probability, 12,000 unit, 0.25, 25% probability will be there. The selling price per unit will be rupees 8,000. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි පරණ machinery වලින් මේක produce කරොත් ඔයාගේ selling price එක 8,000යි. The variable cost will be 6,000 per unit. Required, construct a clearly labeled decision tree and decide which option should be selected. Okay, there are two options, two alternatives we need to evaluate. Upgrade the machinery, or you have to produce new product with new machinery, or produce current product with existing machinery. Okay, those are the two options we need to evaluate and see what we are going to do. Okay, we will start with, when we are going to construct a decision tree, remember it always start with the decision point, and thereafter you have to show the branches of, that mean alternatives. We will start with the decision point. Start with the decision point. Start with the decision point. We have two alternatives, two options: new product with upgraded machinery or new machinery. New machinery. New machinery. Second option, existing product, sell existing product with existing machinery. Those are the two alternatives. If you sell new product with new machinery, sales units will be, okay, sales unit will be how much? How many units? 10,000 unit or 15,000. Sales 10,000. Okay, sales unit will be 10,000 or sales units will be 15,000. 15,000. Okay. If you sell 10,000, variable cost, okay, variable cost also either 6,000 or 5,000. Okay, you have to assign the probabilities. There will be a probability of 80%, your sales will be 10,000, sales of sales 15,000 units, probability will be 20%. If the sale of 10,000, the variable cost also can be changed. Variable cost equal to 6,000. හයදහක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. Or variable cost equal to 5,000. Probability how much? 40% probability and 60% probability is there. Clear? When it comes to here, variable cost also can be either 6,000 or variable cost either 5,000. Probability here 40%, here 60%. Now we need to decide the values. I will take it later. If we are going to use the existing machinery, sales unit will be like this. Sales units will be 8,000 or sales will be 12,000. Probability is there 0.75 and 0.25. Okay. Now we have clearly labeled. If you are going to sell the product with new machinery or new upgrade, you have to pay 5 million as cost. 5 million as a cost. Now this is the clearly labeled decision tree. Now you have to work out. Now left to right we have worked it out. Now right to left you have to work it out. What is the expected value here? Expected value in each of the point you have to work it out. Okay, expected values you have to calculate, then you can get the real value. Okay, now I will take this is outcome point 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we need to evaluate. How to evaluate this kind of situation? Sale will be 10,000, variable cost will be 6,000, your selling price is given 10,000 rupees, that means contribution will be 4,000 per unit. What is the joint probability? 0.8 into 0.4. Joint probability also you have to consider. Okay, I am going to work out this solution. Sales units, sales 10,000, contribution per unit selling price 10,000, variable cost 6,000, that means contribution per unit 4,000. Then take joint probability. Joint probability how to take? They say 80% chance sales will be 10,000, 40% chance variable cost will be 6,000. 80 into 40%, 0.32. Then take the total contribution at expected value, expected total contribution expected total contribution. Expected total contribution. How to take the expected total contribution? Selling price 10,000, variable cost will be 6,000, then 4,000 will be the contribution per unit. Then 4,000 into 10,000 unit you are going to sell, 40 million is your total contribution, but you can't take the 40 million, 0.8 into 0.4, 3.32, therefore 40 million into 0.32, 12.8 million, 12.8 million. Okay. The branch here also 10,000 units, okay, here 10,000 units. Contribution per unit, selling ikurana mila 10,000, variable cost 5,000 nan contribution ekith 5,000, contribution per unit 5,000. What is your joint probability? 0.8 into 0.6, 0.48. මේ දෙක එකතු කරපුවම ආයෙත් 0.8 වලට tally වෙනවා. 0.48. Therefore, your total contribution 10,000 to 5,000 mean 50 million. 50 million into 0.48. 24 million. 24 million. Okay. Then your sales can be 15,000. Variable cost can be 6,000. Sales unit 15,000. Variable cost 6,000 කියලා කියන්නේ contribution එක කීයද? 4,000. Contribution per unit 4,000. Then joint probability 0.2 into 0.4, 0.08. Contribution per unit 4,000, total sales 15,000 unit. Then total 60 million into 8%, 4.8 million. 4.8 million. Okay. Option 4, 15,000 unit is the sales. 15,000 unit. What would be the contribution per unit? Selling price 10,000 minus 5,000, 5,000. 5,000. Joint probability 0.2 into 0.6, 0.12. Then may they get from 0.2 now. Then what is the answer? 9 million. If you completely looked at the entire branch, this is the entire expected value. If you take the total here, it become 1. Here it become 1. 1. Take the total 12.8 plus 24 plus 4.8 plus 9. 50.6. 50.6 million. Therefore, here I will take the directly I will take the expected value here 50.6 million. 50.6 million. The net profit. Expected value 50.6 million. Okay, existing product with existing machinery 8,000 unit will be there as a sale. The second branch, second alternative. Contribution per unit, because their selling price won't be changed and variable cost also won't be changed. 8,000 minus 6,000, contribution per unit will be 2,000. 2,000. Probability 0.75. 0.75. Therefore, 16 million into 0.75 mean 12 million. 12 million. Okay. Then sale of 12,000 units. 12,000 units. contribution per unit won't be changed, same as earlier, 2000 into 0.25, then this become 1. Then 24 million into 0.25, it is 6 million. Total 18 million. Total 18 million. If you select existing product with existing machinery, your expected value will be 18 million. Expected value will be 18 million. Expected value will be 18 million. Now you have evaluated two alternatives. New product with new machinery, 50.6 million expected value. Existing product with existing machinery, 16 million. Make a happy. When you are launching new product with new machinery, you have to expense 5 million additionally. Therefore, expected value of this position, expected value equal 50.6 minus 5 million, it will be 45.6 million. Okay, now which option need to be selected? New product with new machinery or existing product with existing machinery? අපි existing product with existing machinery ගියොත් 18 million විතරයි ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ. හැබැයි මෙතෙන්ද ගියොත් මොකද්ද පුළුවන් අපිට? We can get 45.6 million. Therefore, I will recommend, based on the alternative evaluation, I will recommend, decide, select new product with new machinery. New product with new machinery. Your expected value of the decision 45.6 million. Expected value of the decision. Expected value of the decision. Therefore, when you are going to make the decision, you will show what are the alternative or possible outcomes available. Based on available outcomes, you will evaluate them and select what is the best course of action. This is the sequence of you are going to make a decision. These are the sequence of alternatives available. You will evaluate them and decide which option to be selected. Clear? Okay, that is about decision tree. Remember, decision tree is a pictorial illustration about sequence of decisions. Okay. Therefore, that is the area under this risk and uncertainty part. Some areas, gray areas are there. That means it has not been covered. The payoff table, decision rules, but I have to discuss the decision rule into some extent. And risk and uncertainty involved in decision making. Okay, risk management process. This risk management process, you might think about is related to advanced audit and assurance. No. This risk management process, risk management approach in risk and uncertainty is very important. When we are going to make a decision under uncertain environment, or if the decision involving significant risk, you have to develop strategies to manage such risk. It might be eliminate risk, it might be reduce the risk, it might be the risk should be controlled. Therefore, in the risk management process, we are going to discuss whether we are what's our risk appetite. Are we willing to take a risk? Are we not willing to take a risk? Okay. Therefore, first section we have covered decision making techniques when we are going to make decision under uncertainty and factors to be considered. Now, here we are going to discuss about risk management involvement and process of managing risk. Why risk management? Risk management is important. While minimizing our risk, we have to maximize our return. That is the sole objective of risk management process. Because when there is a risk, you may not be able to, those risks may create some uncertainties, you may not be able to achieve the desired target. Therefore, those risks should be minimized, and in some extent we can eliminate such risk. අපිට eliminate කරලා දාන්න පුළුවන්. සමහර වෙලාවලදී අපිට ඒක අඩු කරගන්න අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා in order to maintain, in order to get higher return. Okay. Therefore, when we are going to evaluate our risk, when we are going, what kind of risk we are going to incur, we have to look at some factors. දැන් උදාහරණයක් විදිහට risk එකක් ගන්නව නම් මට මේ risk එක ගන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා evaluate කරන්න ඕනි. You need to decide, is it suitable to accept this kind of risk? What is my risk appetite? මට capacity එකක් තියෙනවද මේ risk එක bear කරගන්න? Therefore, prior to make any investment decision, උදාහරණයක් විදිහට කිව්වොත්, you are going to make an investment during the pandemic. Now you need to decide, when I am going to invest during the pandemic, is it suitable? You have to decide it. Okay, risk management objective, reduce risk. Okay, number one, we can't eliminate at all, full at all. අපේ ඒක කියන්නේ objective එක eliminate කරන එක නෙමෙයි. To some extent we can control the risk, we can reduce the risk. The most important thing, we can reduce the risk. While reducing risk, what you have to do? Maximize the return. Maximize the returns. Maximize the returns. Remember, these two objectives are contradicting. When risk is reducing, your return also, because risk and return, if you expect higher risk, high return. But here you are going to minimize risk while maximizing return. Okay. Therefore, that is our purpose of managing risk. That is the objective of risk management. While increasing our return, we have to minimize our risk. How we can minimize our risk while maximizing our return? Okay. The udaharana, if I take an example, අපි හිතමු flood එනවා. මම ඉන්නේ area එක හැම වෙලේම ගම් වතුර වලට යට වෙනවා. හරිද? ඒතර මගේ ස්ටෝ එකක් තියෙනවා, හැම වෙලේම මේක ඩැමේජ් වෙනවා. ඒතර මට මොකක්ද කරන්න පුළුවන්? How I going to minimize this risk? I can take an insurance cover. I can minimize the risk. Then it won't be a damage to, it won't be a negative impact to my business operation. Okay. Therefore, we have to look at our objectives to minimize the risk while maximizing the return. Okay. The approach to risk management depends on three factors. Risk appetite. Okay. මොකක්ද වගේ අර risk behavior, risk appetite, whether you are going to take higher risk, your appetite is to get a lower risk, or you risk neutral. You have to look at about risk appetite. Willingness to accept the risk. මම risk එකක් ගන්න බලාපොරොත්තු. දැන් generally when you are going to start a business or going to do a job, if you go to a job, assume currently you are doing a job, you are leaving the job to start your own venture as an entrepreneur. There is a risk. Then you have to decide, what is my risk appetite, whether I am willing to take a new risk or not. If I am willing to take a risk, I am a risk seeking investor, as we have discussed already. If I want to continue my job and I am not going to start up a new venture, then I am risk averse. Okay. Therefore, risk appetite is matters. Then risk attitude and risk capacity. Risk attitude, as I said, whether risk aversion or risk seeking. Okay. Whether entity is risk seeking investor, you are willing, even there is a less probability of success to having a higher profit, but you will work for that. Even if you are risk averse investor, risk aversion in attitude, you are always try to focus what it happen the worst scenario එක මම survive වෙන්නේ කොහොමද කියන එක විතරයි බලන්නේ. You will not look at the what is the best possible outcome, even there is less probability of success. Risk capacity, okay, anyway we are discussing in detail risk capacity, whether we have which extent I can bear the risk. The entity should not only focus on managing negative risk, it needs to managing the risk voluntarily taken by the entity, maximize its shareholders' wealth. The risk on speculation should be managed while minimizing the uncertainty. Now, some instances, if you are invested in share market, now share prices are fluctuating, assume you have invested in common stocks. Now, there is a trend, now share prices are increasing, you can sell at any point. If you hold it, you are taking more risk, sometimes it can be collapsed. Immediately after it start to increase, you have gained a small profit, you will sell and realize it. That means you are risk averse. But remember, not only the negative side, only positive side also you have to think about. Now see, when the share prices are going up, you haven't hold these stocks and you have sold and realized the money with a small profit. But if you hold, assume another 1 week, the share price might have been double and your return might have been double. Okay, what has happened? Because we have to use this risk management on not only to control the negative factors, we have to use these risk management aspects in order to increase shareholders' wealth. Okay. Okay, risk approach. Look at risk appetite. The willingness of the entity to accept the risk to achieve the desired value. මම risk එකක් ගන්න කැමතිද නැද්ද? අපේ target value එක achieve කරන්න risk එකක් ගන්නවද නැද්ද කියන එක තමයි risk appetite mean. Whether I am going to take a risk or not. Risk attitude. There are main two attitude towards the risk. Method in here we are not going to discuss about risk neutral attitude. If we are not going to take a risk, why we need not to manage the risk, no? Or risk එකක් ගන්න නැත්නම් manage කරන risk එකක් නැහැ. Therefore, the two approach, risk aversion and risk seeking approach. Okay, the risk aversion approach, the risk averse organizations are willing to take a risk up to a point which they can earn a reasonable and acceptable return. The entity will undertake a higher risk which compensated by a higher return. Okay. Risk seeking investor, the entity focus on a higher return and not consider the risk level which entity might undertake. They don't consider the risk level, they will expect a higher return, always focus on the higher return. That is called risk seeking. Avoidance of risk is not an approach, since it is not a way to managing the risk while maximizing the return. Risk avoiding approach, like risk neutral approach, most likely outcome, nothing. You need not to have a managed risk. Risk capacity. Risk capacity refers to the maximum amount of risk an organization is prepared to bear. Again, assume you are a company, you need, assume you are a bank, you will obtain the deposits from customers, then you have decide up to which extent you are going to invest in long term investment and short term investment. If all the short term deposit in long term assets, when you have not maintained the liquidity, what will happen? Then customer asks the deposit. Then if you are not able to honor, then the trust of the entity will fall. Then it might affect to collapse your organization. Okay. Therefore, you have to accept any risk which you can bear. Assume you are going to invest in a long term project, because it includes significant capital infusion. if the failure of the project affected the collapse of the organization, you should not accept that kind of project. The project, okay, this is not a large project. The project, if it is failed, it won't be negative, significantly don't affect to the operation of the company. As a company, you can bear that loss. Then, okay, you have a capacity to bear the risk. If you don't have the capacity to bear the risk, then it will be the problem. You may not be able to bear the risk. Ultimately, your organization will collapse. Okay, in examination, this is a new kind of model you are going to manage in risk, TARA model. TARA. Recent examination, it has been tested in this particular section. This will be regularly testing TARA model. Okay, I am going to construct TARA model. It is very important to identify, very important to discuss, because the practical scenarios given might have been given. You have to explain it and you have to decide what you are going to do. Okay. There are 4 options available, 4 options. You have to look at the severity of the risk and you have to look at the frequency of the risk. Let us say frequency. Severity and frequency. The frequency can be either low frequency, low or high. Severity also either low, high. It says the happening frequency is low, then severity impact අපි කියනවා ඒ බලපෑම ගොඩක් අඩුද වැඩිද කියන එක. Okay, if it is low risk, then you have to accept that risk. It say accept. As an example, once you carrying out the production, there might be some waste disposal, not regularly. Some machine can be break down, not regularly break down. Machine can be break down due to not proper maintenance. Okay, the operation disrupt වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Machine can be break down. Severity is low and frequent හැමදා හැම වෙලෙම කැඩෙන්නේ නැහැ. Due to you have forgotten to maintain the machinery. Therefore, you have to keep track record and update and do accordingly. Machine can be stuck. Okay. Therefore, severe frequency will be low, severity will be also low. Then you can accept those risks and you have to control them. Accept and control. But frequency low, severity is high. As you අපි වාහනයක් drive කරනකොට daily accident වෙනවද? It won't happen, no. Rarely. Frequency will be very much low, but if it is a deadly accident, then severity is very high. Okay. Therefore, under that situation, what you have to do? You have used. Do we going to accept the risk? No. We have to transfer the risk. උදාහරණයක් vehicle insurance එකක් අපි ගන්නේ ඇයි? අපි වාහනේ අපි හිතමු අපි හැප්පුවේ නැත්නම් අපේ කවුරු හරි ඇවිල්ලා හැප්පුවා කියලා. අපි ඉන්ෂුරන්ස් එකක්වත් නැති මිනිස්සෙක් තියෙන third party නඩු කී යන්න බෑ. එතකොට අපිට අපිම හදා ගන්නවද? නැහැ. අපිට පුළුවන් අපේ risk එක transfer කරලා තියෙන insurance company. We have paid a premium on that. Therefore, insurance company will reimburse the cost of repairing. Therefore, we can transfer our risk to a third party. Okay. If the severity is high but frequency is low, you have to transfer your risk to a third party. Transfer. If the frequency is high, severity is low. හැම වෙලේම වෙනවා. හැම වෙලේම වෙනවා. හැබැයි impact එක ගොඩක් අඩුයි. Okay, take some action. Example, enhance control system to detect problems or contingency plan to reduce impact. Reduce or control. Therefore, here if the frequency is very high but impact is very low, then reduce them. Reduce or control. Reduce. Then impact is high, frequency is very high. Always you have to abandon them. Abandon. You should not accept or you can't transfer, you have to abandon. Abandon. As an example, continuously take immediate action to change frequency. Regularly you are changing your supply, then it should be abandoned. Why? If you frequently do it, then suppliers won't trust your company, then your business operation will be severely impacted. This is the TARA model. You have to look at the frequency and you have to look at the severity. Based on that, we have to decide what action need to be taken. Okay, we'll one by one we will discuss. Risk transfer. TARA. Transfer. That means severity high, frequency low. The example, obtaining an insurance cover, fire insurance, vehicle insurance. You are going to transfer the risk to a third party. If any risk occur, what will happen? They have to compensate. Like a motor insurance, there is a risk of getting accident, but that risk has been transferred if the damages will be fulfilled by the insurance company. That is called risk transfer. Next one, risk avoidance. It is not worthwhile to take the risk, then you should avoid. If entity has identified a risk with high impact, that means high severity and high chances of happening them, urgent attention would be required to ensure the risk was avoided. As during the pandemic period, you have to run the operation, but you may not able to come to physical office. That means immediately you have to make an attention. If you are not transfer your data into the clouds or remote location, you can work anywhere else, from anywhere you can work with your company, then you have to look at what is the potential threats. Sorry. The risk of operation is too high when it is going to establish a new branch in a country which highly volatile political environment. Now we are going to assume we are going to establish a branch in Syria. What will happen? Lot of political conflicts are there. Under that situation, it is not suitable. You can avoid. You can establish a branch in a good location, without political instability. Some assume you are going to establish a branch in Singapore. So business place, good place to establish a branch. Then you have to avoid such risk without taking additional risk. Order of pharmaceutical from a reputed agent who has a proven track record than a new vendor who gives more incentives and discounts which there is no proper track record. Okay. Now it is very very much relevant to the current context. Now COVID vaccination is going on. I am not going to encourage or discourage. This is my general opinion. Assume we are taking COVID vaccination. There are two options. We have given a vaccine which has produced by the well reputed and proven the company has a proven track record, assume Pfizer. It is very reliable, it says 99% this is reliable, okay. But it is too much costly. But there is another supplier is giving at a lower price, at a discounted price, assume AstraZeneca, product of India, or assume you are getting Sputnik from Russia. They said 100% accuracy, but it is actual it is 60%. AstraZeneca also 65%, as I have seen it is 62%. Now, when you are going to select a product, you should have been avoided that. When you are going to select a pharmaceutical supplier, you have to always rely on not only cost, you have to rely on the quality of the produce and how they have performed in past. It is very important when you are going to select a pharmaceutical drug supplier. It is very important. Therefore, you can avoid if you move into a person who is giving more discounts, your company by yourself you are putting into a trouble. It will be a serious offense and it will affect your business operation significantly. Risk avoidance. Risk reduction or control. Now, risk reduction and control, look at this has been given. A disaster spares the heart of Sony due to this Tokyo, due to the earthquake. Okay. What has happened to the Sony company, it has been given here. A business prepare contingency plans in things can go wrong on time. Contingency planning involves preparing the predictable, quantifiable crisis and preparing for unexpected and unwelcome events. Now, if it is a tsunami, it is unwelcome, unexpected event. Therefore, you have to have a contingency plan. Assume you will lose your head office due to a terror attack, bomb blast. Now, you want to restore your operation, what you are going to do? You have to have a business continuity plan. Okay. You should have a separate disaster DR side for start your operation. You should be able to get the backups and restore immediately and restore business operation. Okay. A contingency plan is a course of action designed to help an organization respond effectively to a significant future event or situation that may or may not be happen. Okay. You have to prepare for the worst scenario. If this has happened, now even in 2006, as I can remember, during this tsunami situation, tsunami disaster, none of we have expected that will happen. Even COVID-19 we haven't expected. Now going forward future, what will happen? This kind of pandemic might arise in future. Climate change can be happen. Therefore, how we are going to prepare for those changes? We have to think about it. Now in North Pole, glaciers are melted down. Then it will impact to the increase of sea water level. Sometime it might be definitely Maldives will be affected, even our country also get affected to some extent. Then how we are going to prepare for that? What is the plan for that? If again tsunami disaster comes, how we are going to respond it? Okay. If another pandemic comes like this, under that situation how we are going to restore our operation? You have to have a contingency plan to control the risk. Okay. Gather information in advance, assign responsibilities according to the plan, and a full scale test to be done to face the unexpected even in future. That means practice. As an example, assume if terror attack happen, if your systems been collapsed, okay, cyber attack has been happened, then how we are going to restore operation? If you shut down the operation in the head office, and how you are going to work from disaster recovery site in order to get the operation back? Okay, you have to practice, and you have to we call some drills need to be done. Okay, if you have done them properly, if any emergency arise, you can easily attend for those emergency situation. Risk acceptance. Risk acceptance mean you are going to accept because it is a negligible risk. As I said earlier, low frequency with low severity. Severity එක අඩුයි. ලොකු impact එකක් නැහැ. Under this situation, you can accept this and accept the risk of retention. Here we are saying we have identified the risk, but it is not feasible to try to reduce the risk. Could be cost related, so we will just have to accept the risk. We can't transfer, we can't avoid, but we have to accept. As an example, when we are storing explosive items, or assume item which can be perishable, it's a risk, we have to incur some additional cost. Okay. Therefore, we have to accept, anyhow we have in nature we have to accept such risk. Projects could take on lots of small risks that will just have to be accepted, as it does not make sense of insurance or take any actions against it. As an example, you have a small petty cash flow of 5,000 rupees. Okay. There might be petty cash might have been theft, 5,000 rupees. Are you going to take an insurance cover for petty cash? No. You are doing a millions of transaction per day. You have given a head office petty cash float of 5,000 rupees. Is it worthwhile to insure them? No. 5,000 rupees අපිට තේරුමක් නැහැ insure කරන එක. Under that situation, it is useless. You have to accept it and you have to bear the risk. It is useless to do that. Therefore, risk acceptance means that could be lots of small risk that will be just have to be accepted, as it does not make sense to insurance or take any actions against it. Action එකක් ගන්න විදියක් නැහැ. Okay, I will give some example. Then you have decide. In this TARA model, you have decide, okay, what is the risk? You have to assess the risk. Then you have to do the strategy. When you are going to answer, what you are going to address that risk. What are the strategies you have to apply, you have to think. Okay, I will take some examples and how we are going to answer this kind of question. Then it is very important for when you are going to prepare for your examination. Exam එකකට මේක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම අවශ්‍ය වෙන මේ වගේ දේවල් වලට ready වෙලා යන්න ඕනේ. Because you have to identify the risk and you have to do the risk assessment, then you have to tell the strategies. Okay. Okay, I will give a risk. Okay, I will give an example, the risk. Number 1. Number 1, new machineries were installed. New machineries were installed where employees have not got proper training. Okay. Then if they have not been trained, there can be there will be some injuries during the work time. There will be some injuries. Now you have established new machineries. Due to lack of training, employees will have some injuries. Now this is the risk. Now you have to do the assessment, risk assessment. Risk assessment. Okay, when we are going to assess the risk, this is the risk, employees will get injured due to introduction or installation of new machineries. මේකෙත් training එකක් දෙන්න අපි දැන් training එකක් නැහැ. They don't have a proper training. Now frequently there will be some injuries and accidents. Therefore frequency will be high. Look at the frequency. Frequency will be high. Frequency will be high. Severity. Mine injury, assume if it is those are mine injuries, will be low. Severity low. Loku impact එකක් නැහැ. Okay. Severity is very low. But frequency regularly it's happening. Then what is the suitable action? Then is strategy. What should be the strategy? You can reduce this risk. You can say reduce or control. Reduce or control. In a risk reduce strategy or reduce කරන්න risk එක. How to reduce this? Train the employees. Train the employees. Train the employees. You have identified the risk, then you have assessed the risk, then you have proposed the strategy. That's how you can use TARA model. Identify risk, then assess the risk and propose the strategies to adapt. මොකක්ද use කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා strategy එක කියන්න ඕනේ. Okay. Second risk. Okay, I will take a risk. I will this kind of risk assume you are running a vehicle. Assume transportation company. A transportation company has 1,000 fleet of vehicles. There are chances to those vehicles are met in accidents. Okay, there is a risk. Frequency හැම වෙලේම accident rate දවස ගානේ වෙනවද? නැහැ. Frequency will be low. Okay, frequency will be low. Severity, if accident happen, severity will be very much high. Severity high. If the now you have to apply the TARA model. හොඳට බලාගෙන යන්න ඕනේ. If we apply TARA model, if the frequency low, if severity high, what you have to do? you have to transfer the risk. The strategy is transfer risk. Transfer. How I am going to transfer the risk? You have to obtain insurance cover. Obtain insurance cover. Obtain insurance cover. That's the way of answering this kind of questions. That's the way of evaluating, that's the way of answering or giving a proper answer to the exam question. You have to identify the situation. Based on that situation, you have to see whether this is significantly affected, whether this is what is the impact is very high or low, whether it is regularly happening or not. You have to think about it. Okay, that is the end of this particular lesson, risk and uncertainty. In the risk and uncertainty, I will briefly mention what are the areas you have to look at. In the risk and uncertainty, as I mentioned at the inception, in the risk and uncertainty, we have looked at about what is the perfect information, what is the imperfect information, what is the value of perfect information, what is the downside risk we have to look at, and what are the risk management strategy, and how to use TARA model and how to identify the risk associated with the project, and finally how to use the risk management framework, that means TARA model in the practical scenario. Okay, those are the areas which will be related to risk and uncertainty in decision making. Under this section, the syllabus weightage 15%. Definitely there will be a question, most probably I am not giving. They can be asked about TARA model, they will be asked about decision trees, okay, and they are asked about calculate the sensitivity. Those can be checked in the examination. Okay, that is the end of that particular section, risk and uncertainty in decision making.